Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Fits here in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world. And it's a beautiful center of the week, Wednesday, hump day. Warm, well, in the 50s, sunny, and then we're kind of like in between the bookends of the storm. So this is the sweet middle between two storms. And I ran across this on Facebook this morning, and it was interesting that on the 17th of February in 1600, Giordano Bruno was burnt at the stake by the Catholic Inquisition for his heresies. And I wrote this down, he denied eternal damnation. He denied the divinity of Jesus and the virgin birth. He said stars were distant suns, maybe with life on them. Earth was not the center of the universe, and that the universe was infinite. And, there was Copernicus and Galileo and all these other great founding fathers of the scientific world. And he was the most famous one that was burnt at the stake for his disloyalty. See, so we're going through the same process right now, where Republicans are being burnt at the stake for their disloyalty to the doctrine of Trump. Disloyalty is the primary sin of a religion. It's not a sin of democracy. There's nobody, in other words, disloyal to the Constitution. But for religion, it's the doctrine that you are the center of the world. So with the Middle Ages, the doctrine that held Europe together for 1,000 years was this a doctrine that evolved out of and was supported by the Bible and the cosmologies of these ancient civilizations of the Middle East. So these mythologies, the cosmology of the Middle East and the Bible came together in the Catholic Church and created this irrefutable doctrine that could not, in other words, if you questioned it, you were questioning the very structure of reality. You were questioning the very foundation of existence, you see. So this was no small matter. And we're in the same thing today. The title of this talk is Trump as the Trojan Horse. Now, skipping from one mythology of the Middle Ages to the Greek mythology, the famous story of the Trojan Horse. If you recall, in the Trojan War, the Greeks could not penetrate the walls of the Trojans of Troy. So they came up with a plan. They would put this big horse there as a gift. And the Trojans would think, oh, the Greeks are giving us a gift, and they're going to quit. And they're saying, all right, good job. We're going home. So they let the horse in, and during the night, there were some Greek soldiers inside of it, and they got out and opened up the gates and let the Greek army in and destroyed and sacked Troy, you see. This is a famous myth of the Trojan horse. Don't let the gift horse in. Well, the GOP lacked one thing before Trump. It lacked passion, and it lacked a center who could galvanize the people. And so Trump looked like that, you see. So they let Trump in like a Trojan horse. They let him into the impenetrable city of the GOP, just like Troy, you see. Principles, reason, good business sense, free markets. These principles were rock solid. And so, but they didn't have any passion. You see, you don't get all passionate about some economic debate. You can't get passionate about free market or the deficit. You can't galvanize the people around the deficit. We're spending too much. So they needed passion. They needed commitment. They needed Trump. So there was this Trojan horse, there was this Trump, and they let him in. And during the night, they opened the gates and let in Trumpism. Now, I've been writing about this today. The Western world, that's us, Europe, is caught between two bookends, two storms, just like right now, Wednesday, middle of the week. Storm 2 days ago, this weekend, storm coming, So, but the West is between two active storms. One of them is fading away, but it was very active, and that was Muslim, Islamic fundamentalism. Remember ISIS? Remember Al-Qaeda? You remember these storms? They used to be the talk of the town. Now, it's not gotta beat them back. Maybe they're smoldering there, but they're not a fire anymore. But now the raging fire is within. So fundamentalism, basically, is an attack upon the modern world, the modern scientific, rational, modern world that we just assume is reality. We all like our lights, we all like our water, we all like our heat. These are all the product of the scientific reality. Everything has cause and effect. Everything is run by natural laws. Figure out the laws. You figure out the law, you can make fire. You can make heat. You can make services. You can make life comfortable. This is the foundation of the reality that we live in. You see, this is the field for our soccer game. This is the field for our political soccer game that has always been the case for the liberals and conservatives. It was like a political soccer field. It was a game. At the end of the day, the politicians went to the bar and had a drink together. And then they went back to work the next day and fought like hell on the floor. But at the end of the day, they go play squash or something, tennis, have a drink, have a martini. That was the way it used to be until they let this Trojan horse in. Now, Trumpism, fundamentalism, has always been at war with the modern world in the same way that the Catholic Church burnt this Bruno, who was one of the founders of the scientific method. You looked at the universe, you see, through your instruments, and you saw it directly instead of through the bending prism of the Bible. You saw the universe directly as it is, instead of looking at it through a prism of Bible and moral laws. Instead of, when as a scientist, the world is governed by natural law. As a religious mind, the world is governed by moral laws. You see. But these are two incompatible worldviews. But so this religious view, the subjective view, which gives you value, has been missing from the scientific world, where everything is flat and there is no center. The earth is not the center of the world. God is not the center of the world. Darwin said man is not the center of the world. Copernicus said the earth is not the center of the world. And even global warming says that God is not the center of the world, because if God were the center, he wouldn't allow global warming. Man can't do that. Only God can do that, you see. So even there, you have a clinging to this old mythology of the Catholic Church, where the earth is the center of the world, and you are the center of the world. And if you are a Trumper, Trump is the center of the world, and you are the center of the world if you belong to the Trump Church. So Trumpism is a religion disguised in secular clothes, Trojan horse, you see. So I'm just trying to understand and share what I see in broader strokes, in simple formulas, that the reason we're in this dilemma right now is that Trumpism basically is an attack on the flat world of the modern world, the flat world, the wasteland, the flatland, which is what the modern world has become when everything is seen through the prism of science. It's a viewpoint. It's not absolute, it's a viewpoint. And so Trumpism is like the Catholic Church. It's a viewpoint. And these two viewpoints are incompatible. So they struggle. They rub, you see, and they create new ways of seeing. But anyway, I digress. The point is, there is a point here, is that the dilemma that the Republican Party finds itself in is that it is a basically secular natural law party, conservative, but it's based in reason, laws, the laws of the market, the laws of economy, the laws of banking, all of these laws, you see, it has been the go-to party. But when they let Trumpism in, Trump is not interested in natural laws. He's interested in moral laws. His party is interested in moral laws, you see. I'm good, you're bad. In other words, Trumpism is kind of like the Catholic Church bringing back the mythology of the center. The Pope is the center of the world, Rome is the center of the world, the earth is the center of the world, God is the center of the world. This hierarchy of the center, you see, is now becoming a movement where Trump is the center of the world, and you orbit around Trump, and anybody that doesn't agree with the doctrine of Trump is a heretic, and you're going to get burned at the stake. And there are a lot of Republicans right now being roasted for disagreeing with the Trump doctrine, you see. So we're right back where we were at the 16th century. If you disagree with Trump, you're going to get burned at the stake. But what has happened to the poor Republican Party is that it's being divided and torn apart by its own religious war. And the Democrats are in a very good place now, where all they have to do is do good policies, make things work, fix the plumbing, fix the heating, restore jobs, make life better, and let the Republicans burn themselves at the stake, trying to cast out the heretics who don't believe in Trumpism. So, good job, Trump. Thanks for dropping in.